Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we have a version of the Frieza with the Army Healing Pod for the BT17 meta. This is a list that I started making and tinkered and playtested with my stream earlier this week. So at the end of this video, there will be a commentated match that I did with it, as well as there will be a link in the description for the entire re-upload of the stream if you guys want to watch that, if that's curious for you guys. But yeah, this is a very old leader in the sense that it's 2 years old. It came out with the Jito starter deck leader as well as the Vegex, and it's probably the worst of the three. But I really do like it, and I kind of have been making it try to work for a while. It does have some cheese with the Frieza Armor Healing Pod, and additionally, there aren't like any specific buffs that it got for BT17, but there are a couple cards that I think we can take advantage for, and it has some kind of good synergy with. So I think we're going to try this out. We're going to look at the leader itself and just kind of go from there. So permanent, you can't include any Saiyan cards in your deck, and this is such a huge permanent for us to kind of work around. There are so many good Saiyans that we can't take advantage of, and it kind of stinks. Specifically super combos, there's no Paragus super combo, there's no Great Saiyan Man super combo too. We don't even have the Nappa super combo, which is probably one of the best super combos that you use off the healing pod. So that kind of stinks for us, but we do have this new cell one, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But then it has this auto choose one Frieza army card in your battle area and place it in its owner's drop area. When this card attacks a leader card, your opponent chooses one card in their hand and discards it. Then add to one card from your life to your hand. It is specifically leader, which when testing I didn't realize at first. So I don't know why it has such a limitation. I really want to make sure that the card destruction is hard to do, but just means that you have to kind of start off with doing your turn one play. If you're going first, you have to play a Frieza to get your self awakening and making your opponent kind of discard cards, but you don't really even plus with it, which kind of stinks. But then on the awaken side, you have awaken when you left 4 less, untap 1 and draw 1. Flip it over, and then on this guy, when this card attacks, you get to draw 1, and then active main once per turn. Choose one Frieza army card in your battle area, place it on his drop area. Choose one card in your opponent's hand, which is important that we get to choose the card. Discard it, then choose up to one of your green unison cards that gains critical for the turn. So this actually is a fantastic effect that we're trying to take advantage of. And the big kind of like combo is that we have this big Golden Frieza Newfound Might. So we're already playing unisons, and this has Empower 4, dual attack blocker, and then counterattack. Play this card with 3 markers on it. Auto, this has 4 more markers on it. When this card is played, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and KO them. And then also -4 active main. This card gets 10k power and plus 10k power and triple strike for the turn. And then you get to switch to active mode at the end of the turn so you can use its blocker effect. So this is a fantastic card to take advantage of. And so with your leader inherently, it becomes a 30k triple strike crit dual attack unison, which means there's a lot of ways for you to do damage, and it's very oppressive too. So if we're doing kind of like a hand destruction game already and we keep our opponent at like a low hand size, we're able to really take advantage of this guy and kind of go from there. So that's the entire kind of point of this deck, is to try to get to this guy, get him into a 30k dual attack crit triple striker, and just pressure your opponent a lot from there. So that's the idea, and we kind of go from there. If you guys don't know how the healing pod works, it is a field card auto once per turn. When you play a green battle card from your drop area, you get to draw 1 card. And this works on both your turn and your opponent's turn, so that is kind of important. It also has an active main for 4 to play one of your cards from your drop area with cost of 4 or less, but I've never ever done that, so it's not as good, but it is, I guess, an option if you need to. We don't really play cards that we want to go from there. And the card that we abuse the most is the Sidoria's Frieza's Devoted Servant. So if your leader card is a green Frieza card and you have a green unison in play, if this card is placed in your drop area from your hand by a skill, you may play this card from your drop area. And the active main for green, if your leader card is a green Frieza card and you have a green unison in play, add this card from your drop area to your hand. So you really get to recycle this a lot. It even just works if we're playing against the hand destruction, where they could just use like a rebrand. We discard this, we play it for free, and then if we have pod out, we get to draw a card too, which is kind of nice. And we really have to have a bunch of our 1-drop boys and girls. So we do have our Berry Blue Frieza's Advisor. So this is Frieza's Army 2, which is nice. When this play, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, up to 1 green unison specified cost of 2 or 1 green extra card with field, and add it to your hand. So this can find either pod or our Frieza Xeno as well. So it's a good searcher for us, and it's a 1-drop Frieza card, so we can play it and then we can pop it with our leader to get our effects there. We also do have the Dodoria Brimming with Power. This is a good tech card for where we're at in the meta and stuff. So if your other card is mono green, you have a green Unison card in play. The battle card being played has an energy cost 2 or less. It is placed in its owner's drop area instead of being played. Then play this card. So this is kind of nice for doing this, and I do appreciate all the kind of disruption he does. And he's just on color and on archetype, so he's just like easy include into the deck. And then we also just have the Doria cold-blooded. Sometimes like a double strike is good, and being able to get this off I think is fine. So I do like his inclusion in the deck too. Next up, we do have the Zarbon's Frieza's right-hand man. So when this card's played, look at top 5, you get to add a Unison card of cost 2 or less to the Frieza Xeno, or up to 1 green Frieza's army with any cost of 4 or less among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So this is fine for what we're doing. It's not super good, but it's okay. But also active battle for green. If your leader card's a green Frieza army card and you have a green Unison play, you send this card from your drop here to warp. You get to choose one of your leader or Unison cards. It gets plus 10k power for the battle. So like some extra juice at the end of the game can help you out. It can also be worked defensively, and if your opponent doesn't know this exists, you can kind of catch them off guard from there. Going into our super combos, so we do have this Cell the Awakened. So this is a green yellow and auto. If your leader card is green or yellow at the end of battle, when this card's played in a combo from your hand, you get to play this from your drop area. So if we have Frieza Army Healing Pod out, we get to play this. We get to combo it the 10k combo for free. Then we get to play it, which means not only do we get a 10k combo later if it doesn't get popped, but we also get the draw from the Frieza Army Pod, and that's very, very good value. Normally I was playing it at 4, but I just found like sometimes we're doing 2, like it doesn't, we already have a proc 4 pod, so it's just a 10k combo, which is still fine, but I never really found like a good use for it all the time. So I think 2 is the way, and then Aandroidd 18 for 2 as well. Just being able to get that discard and a little bit more discard is I think what we're doing. I wasn't originally playing the Aandroidd 18s. I rebrand for most of my testing, and I think a little bit more of that will kind of help you out. We also do have the Invader's Vow, and this is just a good value card. For just 1 green, we get to make our opponent discard 2. That's the main point of it in this deck. We do get to have some potential to pop something. It depends on how many Frieza clans that we have in our leaders: energies, battle, unison, drops, warps, and warp. So the cards that are kind of included that are all our unisons, our Frieza, charismatic villain, and our leader itself. So we can always pop a 1-drop. And then like sometimes we can get like a 3 or 4 drop, but it's a little bit tricky for us to get anything more than that. But like being able to just, again, for 2 energy or 1 energy, make our opponent discard 2 when we're a hand destruction deck, I think is fine. Some other text. So Zarbon's great. You can just cycle this too. And then on the front side, if your opponent has 5 cards, we can KO this. Yeah, just remove from your battle area by a skill. So our own leader, we can make them go down to 5 to 4, and then our leader can make them go from 4 to 3. On the Awakened side, since it's active main, this needs to resolve first. So if they have 6 or less, you can make them do the double discard. Otherwise, Zarbon won't proc until after the Frieza active main, so you can't do anything. But it's a blocker. It's something you can play from your energy or from your drop for 1 by discarding 1, which means for free, and a free cycle with the pod out. And that's kind of good. Rebrand's good, you guys know that. And then we also do have the Ginyu. This is good for a lot of reasons too. So during your opponent's turn, if you have a green Unison card and played, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. When this card is played up to 1 green Frieza army card with 9k power or less in your drop here to your hand, then if you did, choose 1 card in your hand and you get to discard it, which means you can discard the Dodoria, which means it comes back, which means that you get a Frieza army healing pod on your opponent's turn. So like being able to get that proc on your opponent's turn is really important, and can help you out and get more card draw. And then you have 2 Frieza's army on the board, which means that if you need to do your, like on the Awakened turn, you swing with your leader, you pop one of your guys, and then after that, you just use the active main to pop another one of your guys and make your opponent discard 2, and then you have a crit unison, which is kind of nice. Charismatic Villain is good. It's a good card. It's Frieza's army too, and Frieza clan, and just does everything we want it to. And then we also have Bio Broly. I think this is just a okay unison to help us out. The +1 lets us choose 1 card from your hand, discard. If you do, we get to draw 1. So it's the cycle for the Doria, which the Frieza does as well. And then additionally, this can also pop something or removes a unison marker for a -1, but it does the same. Choose 1, discard it, draw 1, and then it has a permanent. If this card would lose a marker from your opponent's attack, you may place 1 card from your life into your drop area instead. So if we need to have this at 2 markers, we can make sure we have to crit a life, which kind of stinks, but we can get through it if we need to. And again, since both these unisons are kind of difficult to get rid of inherently, since it does have this auto choose 1 card in your hand, discard it. If it's placed in its owner's drop area from unison area during your opponent's turn, you can play this from your drop area with 1 marker on it. And then if you discard a Dodoria, it will see the unison will be out there already, so it gets to be played for free, which is really nice. And then, yeah, the fact that you will have like a 2 marker thing, and then you can play this for 3, which will have 5 markers with power, and then do the -1 to do your stuff, is good. And Frieza Xeno as well, so you can always make like you can. These are a little bit trickier to get rid of, which means you can kind of guarantee your Empower plays. Some side deck cards. These are obviously not all the considerations for it, but more hand destruction, more 1-drop green Frieza stuff. If you don't like Dodoria the Cold-Blooded, this guy is good too, just being able to play it for 1 and just add a card from your life to your hand if you need to awaken. Homicidal Clones is never a terrible choice for a deck like this, though I think we do have a good amount of negates. Rosie, I don't think we need, but there is hand destruction. Golden Freeze is just a better turn 3 play, and most of the time. Aandroidd 13 I played with a little bit when I was running 4 of the Cell Super Combos, and he's just like a nice, thing to play for free. You also don't get, you get benefits from having him in the drop area as well, so you can like warp and pop something too. So he's flexible if you do like to run the 4 cells. And then lastly, the cooler sibling cruelty. It is Frieza Clan, which does help for the secret rare, but does not help. You can't pop it with your leader effect. But it's pretty easy to get this at like a 2 cost. It's kind of tricky in this deck specifically for a 1 cost. Because it has to be instance in your drop area, and we normally have like 1 or 2 there, but it's a double strike, and then you get to like pop, like your opponent has a discarded card too with it, so it's fine. You're just never going to have the super duper cheap, which is an issue. But this is the list. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown, and let me know what your thoughts are, and let's go to the example match. All right, so we have our example match here against Bandit Keat using the red Dormant Legends Broly. Obviously not the most meta pick, but I think this deck kind of, or at least this match shows off how the deck does when we see all of our pieces. So opening hand, we find our Dodoria and Bio Broly. So just going to keep those, the Dodoria. We have a couple pieces we need. Essentially, Dodoria is one of our best pieces, the Army Pod, and as well as a Unison to do all that. So we got 2 of the pieces, and Berry Blue can help us find the pod. And we are going first, so I think we go from there. Charge a Berry Blue. I don't know, started charging a Ginyu, looking at Berry Blue top 7, and there is a pod in there, so we do take it and shuffle the deck and end our turn there. Since we can't swing, we can't pop the Berry Blue for the effect turn 1. That's fine. Going to Bandit Keat's turn, charging the Strategies of Universe 7. And swinging in with the Bully Leader. No response there. They're able to combo with the Sun Goten, put a Dormant Legends there, and gets the untap 1 and draw 1, and it's a 20k crit going our way. Luckily, no double strike, but yeah, sending 1, and it's an Aandroidd 13, which is fine for what we're doing. Getting the untap, we're going to charge in the Berry Blue now that we find our pod. We're going to use the pod there, swing with the leader into their leader. I think we're choosing if we want to do anything first. So yeah, we're going to get the pop there, swing there, and take the life from there. They're down to 7. They have their Dormant Legends effect too, so they get to put a card underneath there, that Yamcha. We play our Bio Broly, use the +1 to draw 1, play the Dodoria off the discard, get to draw another one off the pod. So we get to draw 2 there, and we're just going to end the turn there. Since it's only a 9k unison, we can't do a lot of damage with it. But we also do have the Cell Super Combo in hand, which is kind of nice. If they try to do some kind of aggressive stuff with like their crit leader, we can potentially not take the crit damage as well as get the draw. But I think we're just going to let this happen. 20k crit, since we do want to awaken next turn, but no, I decided to just combo out, use the Cell. We get to play it for free, draw a card, and we're still at 6k. Or 6 life, rather. And it looks like the turn is ending there. So we're charging the Ginyu, since we still have another one in hand. Using the 1 to get the Dodoria back to our hand. Using his effect to +1 to discard the Zarbon. And then we'll play the Zarbon by discarding the Dodoria, and since we played a card with pod, we get to draw a card, which is nice. And then from there, we're just going to swing into our leader. We're going to pop the Zarbon to make them discard a card, since they are at 5 cards in hand, and then we'll make them discard another one off the Frieza. So going down to 4, they take the 1. We're down to 2 off the Dormant. We're going to swing there. We're going to add the Dodoria, or swing the combo with the Dodoria, put them down to 5, which means they can activate their Dormant Legends next turn. And I think we're just going to end from there. So we still have the Cell Super Combo on board. Also, since we have the Ginyu, we can use its effect to add the Dodoria to hand, and then pitch the Dodoria to play it for free to get a pod thing on our opponent's turn. And since they're playing these crit damage guys, we're not too worried about it. But they're playing the Broly counter reversal, which means that if we play any counter skills, we have to take a damage. So not the best for us. We may have made the wrong move there. Swing in with the leader. We're going to see what they do. Just 15 or 10k crit. We're going to combo the cell because they can probably pop it in another way. Swinging there into our leader with 25k, and we'll just take the one to hand, another pod in hand, which is not helpful, but it's what we got. Charge that immediately, and from there we have a couple plays. I think the best, since we do have the golden Frieza in hand, we can do a lot of damage. So we're going to take the get the Zarbon back. There are 5 cards in hand again. So, and get the draw off the pod. We're going to swing in there. We're going to pop the Zarbon to make them go down to 4, and then use the Frieza effect to make them discard 1 more. So go down to 3, and just 10k on their leader. So that's nice. We're going to awaken. And then from there, we do the +1. Or sorry, we add the Dodoria to hand. And then we're Bio Broly +1, so discard that, draw 1. He has another marker. And then from there, we're going to empower into the Frieza. So now it has 7 markers, and then we can kind of do our play. So -4 first to give it the 10k triple strike. And then we'll use leader effect. So we do that, we get to get the card out of their hand too. So we send a super combo, which is quite nice, but not as good as a Violent Raise is. So we don't really get to do anything, but we do make them discard a card. They call Unison, which is the good play there, and we're just kind of done for the turn. And so now we are not like super afraid of dying, because we do have a huge hand advantage, but we do have the Dormant in hand too. So we're going to, we could use the Dormant, and I think we do. Yeah, we use the Dormant. We'll pitch a Unison, and we just say, okay, that's the only swing you get after that. So the swing goes in. They become a big double strike with the Demonic Playtime. I think we just take it. I think we say we're not afraid of that. Yeah, 25k double strike. Yeah, we'll just draw the 2. Since we have our blocker Unison, we're not afraid. And oh yeah, we're in a really good spot now. So from here, just I guess choosing what we charge. We charge the Dodoria. We'll use the effect of our leader to play the Zarbon for 1 by pitching the other Zarbon. We get to draw 1 from it. We use our leader's effect to make them discard 1. We get to choose, but they discard a Cease to Exist, and then we randomly pick the Cease to Exist. So not nothing there. But we do get crit on this boy. Now he has a 20k crit, no dual or no triple strike. But for 1, we're playing the Vow, which just means that we get to make them discard 2. And that should be the game for there. So 20k crit into leader, another 20k crit into leader. And then from there, we're able to just go and power into our big triple strike boy and win the game from there. Spoilers. But that's going to be it. Again, let me know what you guys think about this deck. I think there is a lot of potential for it. There's a lot of cool stuff it has, and I really had a lot of fun exploring this. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see the full breakdown or full re-upload, it's in the description. I'll see you guys next time.